welcome to Hey Alexis. Today we're going to go over idioms of the week. We have 5, and Jerome is going to help me with that. Hi, Jerome.
Hi, Alexis. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, as always, for being here. So, how much do you think your students like idioms, would you say?
I think I like them more than they do. I think I force them to learn them, and sometimes the origin, the etymology is interesting, but there's so many of them, and often they're very specific. When you can use them. One of my students actually last week reminded me of an idiom I'd totally forgotten, and it was the phrase "doctors make the worst patients."
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, totally. I'd forgotten this existed because it's a very specific use for this idiom. And if you don't use it, you lose it, like going to the gym. So,
What does that mean? Doctors make the worst patients.
well, I think if you're a doctor and you have to visit a hospital and the doctor is checking your temperature and says, "Oh, so your temperature is 37.5. It's not perfect." And then you'd be like, "Well, actually, I'm a doctor, and I would say that's not bad." Okay, fine, yeah. And you could do this with any profession. I noticed this because right now I'm taking some classes here in Bogota. I'm taking it's a little bit late. This is embarrassing, but I'm taking a driving course. Finally learning to drive. And because I'm a teacher, I'm looking at the way that this class is being taught, and I'm thinking, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't have done that. That's the terrible way to learn. And so again, you could apply it also that not only do teachers make, that doctors make the worst patients, teachers make the worst students as well.
I agree.
So I guess it translates.
I never do my homework. Yeah, I also teach a lot of idioms just because if you're talking in an informal conversation in your native language, you're going to use these to express yourself. So I think this shows like a more advanced level of fluency in English.
Yeah. It also shows you a sort of understanding of the culture as well, because to understand idioms and also proverbs, you have to kind of know the culture you're living in quite well. And there's kind of a deep-rooted history. Like, when in Rome, do as the Romans. These all have like deep origins. And they also they share a philosophy as well.
Definitely. And some idioms are more universal, like knock on wood. I think most all countries have that one.
Yep.
So they're fun. Let's go over a few today. The first one we're going to go over is crash a party. Have you ever crashed a party?
Crashed a party? Yes, I have. It's when you show up to a party when you weren't invited, and you sort of either sneak in or you persuade somebody that you were invited.
Yes,
yeah,
definitely. Sometimes it happens at weddings or bachelor parties, maybe something like that.
Yeah, especially if there's a big party and not everybody knows everybody else very intimately. Now, if it's like a 6-person pajama party, it's going to be pretty hard to crash that party. But if it's like 120 people, at a rave in a warehouse, and then people might think that you know somebody else, and it's probably easier to crash that party. How about you, Alexis? Have you ever crashed a party?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, with the pajama party, you might want somebody to crash that party because maybe it's not too exciting with 6 people.
That's right, yeah. So crashing a party could be good. Maybe you're bringing some element to the party that they needed. Like,
yeah, definitely.
Or maybe you were invited last minute as well.
Yes.
Yeah. There we go.
The next one, ring a bell. When we say, oh, that rings a bell, it means that reminds me of something, or it sounds familiar.
It's like it activates a little neuron in my brain. Ding, 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 ding. And this, like, oh, that seems familiar. That's doing something in my brain. That's reminding me of something.
Maybe we're having a class and I remember, oh, I need to reschedule your future class. Oh, that rings a bell. I need to bring this up.
Perfect, yeah. Or you could even listen to a song and it like rings a bell. It reminds you of another song that has a similar kind of tune or something like that.
Or a memory, yeah.
Yeah, or a memory, yeah, exactly.
Okay, the third one, on a roll. Have you heard this?
I have. It's kind of like a winning streak. Yeah.
You can use it as a compliment and say, wow, you're really on a roll with your sales this month. If
Have
you're
you have you ever heard of a negative feedback loop? We could also call this a negative or a negative spiral, a
Yes.
downward spiral. Can you explain to our listeners what is a downward spiral? Um,
It's it reminds me of how we say like you're on a slippery slope when your I would say your bad decisions are adding up and
exactly.
turning into a lot of consequences. So, you know, maybe you're late for work like twice a week. That would be on a downward spiral, I would say.
Yeah. Or maybe you had a really bad day at work, which is a bad thing, and then you come home and you shout at your spouse, and then your spouse leaves you. Okay,
Oh,
which is a bad thing.
wow.
And then you decide to
Yeah.
go to a bar and spend all your money on vodka, and then you go back to work the next day with a hangover. It's slowly getting like it's a feedback loop. Everything bad is leading to something else bad. So
Yeah.
you're slowly getting worse and worse and worse.
Right, like a constant. So it's
Yeah.
like opposites on the roll or on a downward spiral. One is negative, one is positive.
And yeah, and on a roll would be the positive version. This is like you have a great day at work. So you come home with a smile and full of energy, and your spouse is really happy. And well, I can think of
Flowers,
something that
maybe.
nice that could result from that, but I can't say it on this podcast. And everything just gets better and better and better, you know?
Yep. You get a good night's sleep. You
A
get a
good night's
promotion
sleep. We'll
the
say
next
that. Yeah, very
day.
good.
Good. Now, jokes like that, we could say, Jerome, are playing with fire. Something
Yeah.
kind of risky, kind of fun, but on the borderline, maybe. That is a mild example.
Yeah.
Maybe if you decide to like shoot heroin one day, that might be definitely playing with fire.
Yeah,
Or
playing with fire is getting just a little bit too close to the sun, a little bit too close to burning yourself. What
mhm.
literally when I was a kid, we used to go camping and we used to play this game where we would put our hand through the flame, and if you moved your hand through the fire quickly, it would burn off the hairs on your fingers, but it wouldn't burn your hand. There was a very like narrow window of time when you could do that, and that was
Yeah.
literally playing with fire. Extremely dangerous, but good fun.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be so dramatic. It could be maybe a business deal that is risky. You could say, I don't know, you might be playing with fire on that one.
Yeah, or maybe you're telling a risky or a joke at work.
Yeah,
Maybe, yeah. Now that
definitely.
joke could either be extremely funny or you could be sent to HR. That would
Yeah.
be playing with. So it's a real risk. You don't know how it's gonna go.
Or protesting is kind of playing with fire as well. You could get arrested or changes could come from it. So you
Yeah,
never
yeah,
know.
that's right. Yeah, I think the government could get better, or you could be taken and shot behind a warehouse. Exactly. So,
Exactly.
so there we go.
Okay. The last one, in touch. This one's a little more common, but if you don't know it, it's good to say instead of saying, I will call you this week and we will talk about our weekends. Just say, hey, we'll be in touch. In touch.
That's right. And it's always used with the verb to be. Are you in touch? We are in touch. Let's be in touch. Let's, yeah.
Let's keep in touch.
Or or get in touch. That's right. You're right, actually. So it means in contact, in communication.
Do you ever hear maybe your friends or yourself use this when you're saying, okay, bye, talk to you later?
Yeah, it's usually like I'll talk to you in 6 months if I remember. Let's keep in touch. It basically means I won't delete you from my phone contacts, but I'm not going to call you unless something important comes up. Yeah.
Yes. Now, that's another way you can use this. If you want to politely say, I don't want to talk to you again, maybe on a first date, and the guy says, do you want to go on a second date? You can say, I'll be in touch.
I'll be in touch. Yeah,
Or
it's like the classic. We'll call you, but don't call us after the job
yes.
interview. Yeah, we're planning on never talking to you, but if we absolutely need to and there's nothing else available, we will keep your number somewhere saved. We'll write it down somewhere. So
Right. Job interviews. Yeah, you might hear that as well.
Yeah. If you hear the term "we'll keep in touch," "we'll be in touch," you've been fired. You haven't got the job. I'm sorry. You don't want to hold your breath. You may. It could be a nice surprise, but chances are that they'll put you in sort of the B or C list of candidates to hire, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's like their automated response. They're so used to saying we'll be in touch, we'll be in contact. So I think they would be a little more direct if they were excited about the interview.
Yeah, they would. They're like, oh, we can't wait to have you. Can you start on Monday? That's what you would expect if things went well.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Okay, well, I wanted to keep it short and sweet today. So that's everything I have. And thanks to our listeners as always. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks for having me. All the best.
Thanks, Jerome.
Bye.
Bye.